Nick Caserio is the general manager of the Houston Texans. And when he talks, he says nothing. And you got to give a man like that credit for doing what we say all figures in sports really want to do with us, the liberal media. Feed them bleep and keep them in the dark. Caserio's great. I know that Caserio actually has a personality. It's surprising to hear that, but I know he does. He's just not going to share it in front of a podium. But I've long believed that these guys who become masters of saying absolutely nothing when they speak are humans. They're not robots, and they have inner thoughts. But Nick Caserio, who like a clown freak, wears a vest all year round in Houston, Texas. I just walked to work today. Shout out to me. 1.5 miles, 100 degrees outside. Nick Caserio is built like a Terminator. There's a very good chance that Nick Caserio is either a replicant from the Blade Runner franchise, a T-1000 from the Terminator franchise. There's a good chance that there is a skin that he is wearing is that of a human. And I've always thought that whenever Nick Caserio speaks, there are probably inner robot thoughts that he has that are going through his head. So he was asked about the roster he had last year compared to the roster this year.
I understand the question. Honestly, I have no idea. We've put together a competitive group, and ultimately the players are going to determine how competitive or how good it is or isn't. We've invested resources and allocated resources in certain positions, but in the end, it's trying to put together as comprehensive a team as possible and trying to build the depth. Your bottom of the roster, kind of middle of the roster, we feel is important as the top end of the roster.
Right,
so
if I'm
how are we
driving my
1 through
car right
53,
now,
and then in conjunction with that, sort of your depth off the roster, 53 to 70, like all those players are important. So whoever's in the building, whoever's going to end up on a team, who's going to end up in the building in some capacity, ultimately is going to have an important role on our team. So I think we'll have a better idea.
Sean,
going against teams like Miami, who playoff team, going against a team like New Orleans, who have a lot of respect for their program.
Okay.
I think we'll have a decent idea of maybe where we are. I'd say at this point it's probably hard to speculate. Hopefully we've improved, but ultimately the proof is in the pudding, and we'll get a better idea here once we get into training camp and get a little bit deeper.
What's the takeaway from that? The proof is in the pudding?
Yeah, because it's the last thing that he said. It's like when a teacher calls on you in class, and it's like all I heard was the thing that came right before my name. I don't know.
Yeah. So that's what Nick Caserio said. But we have a translator to get Nick Caserio's inner robot thoughts. And you might have heard that, but this is really what Nick Caserio was saying.
How dare you ask me, the great Caserio bot, about last year's roster? It's not my fault that a wannabe Joel Osteen, who somehow got a job after being a character coach for 2 teams with murderers, took a crap on this roster. It was I who drafted Damian Pierce. It was I who drafted Jalen Petrie. It is I who will lead the great robot revolution of 2027.
He keeps on saying that. He's got to stop.
I thought it was in the 2030s last time, too.
It's moved up like a couple of years every single time we've heard from Robo Caserio. Fake Tony Stark on twitch.tv/ESPN 97.5 says, Nick is very NHI looking. Non-human intelligence? It could be lying beneath. We don't know. But there's another Caserio clip. Good God. Hopefully I won't kill myself by the end of it. No offense, Nick. I do like you. Your press conferences are hard. He was asked about Steven Nelson, who, of course, famously on his Instagram story, posted a picture of a vest, said essentially called Nick Caserio a clown freak with an all-time subtext that would subtweet that would make Dante Robinson proud. Here is Nick Caserio's response to that.
Yeah, everybody's reported. Everybody's here. Everybody's ready to go in practice. So, not really going to comment on the discussions that we've had. We've had constructive dialogue with Steven. Respect Steven. I know he doesn't like my wardrobe selection, but that's okay. So, Steven's here. he's ready to go. So we'll see how it goes here in training camp.
A couple of media chuckles there. Such a low barometer again. Like, this is why people think that DeAndre Hopkins had a great comeback with Sean Pendergast. But whatever, it's fine.
I mean, if it's something that like even catches your ear a little bit at a Caserio press conference, I bet you laugh. Just, oh, hey, that was something.
It's because it's such a low bar to clear. That's probably right.
It's the only thing that rises above the white noise that is the rest of his answer.
So that's what Caserio had to say publicly about Steven Nelson. But what was really going on in Nick Caserio's mind?
I am literally going to cut Steven Nelson for this. Bro, do you really think you're hard? Because you were the best cornerback on the NFL's worst team last year. That's like winning a micro-penis competition. Congratulations. You're fired. And good luck finding employment when you get beat out for a job at McDonald's by artificial intelligence.
Damn. Okay. Well, Nick runs hot underneath that vest and underneath that skin of the poor man he stole it from.